Hello and welcome to the formal review. Today, we will be looking at the 2019 film, The Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the review.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the formal review. This is episode 42 and I thank you all for tuning in once again. Now before I get started, I do want to preface this episode with a mild spoiler warning, but I will do my best to keep everything vague so not to ruin the movie for you. However, as I always say, I do suggest you go see the film before you hear what I have to say so you fully understand everything. But if you don't care about that, keep listening. Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw is an action film directed by David Leitch, and it's a spin-off of the Fast and Furious franchise centered around Luke Hobbs and Deckard Shaw. It stars Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, and Jason Statham as Hobbs and Shaw respectively, Idris Elba, Vanessa Kirby, and Helen Mirren. Hobbs and Shaw have to work together begrudgingly against Brixton Lore, played by Elba, who wants to release a deadly virus into the world. And honestly, the more I go into this film, the more ridiculous it's gonna get. So Leitch is mostly known for John Wick, Atomic Blonde, and Deadpool 2. If you found any enjoyment about the action in those films, you will find that again in this film. Though outrageous, the action in this film is a lot of fun to watch. Given that this film is a spin-off of the Fast and Furious films, if you really aren't expecting outrageous action, you really need to think about your life. This film was written by Chris Morgan, who also wrote every Fast and Furious film since Tokyo Drift. So again, if you were hesitant or had anything against those films, you're gonna find disappointment here. And similar to that of Fast 5, this film is not about cars, even though there are some nice ones, including ones that somehow now connect the Fast and Furious films to the Italian Job. Not really any explanation for that, but in the next film we'll probably get that Shaw's alter ego was Frank Martin sometime before Fast 7. But again, the film is not about this. It is about stopping this deadly virus from being released, and of course, family. Because it really can't be a Fast and Furious movie without being about family. Really, anyone going to this film is not going for the direction, the writing, or really any sense of logic. They're going to go see The Rock and Statham punch things, and that's where this movie really succeeds. And this film does mark the return of The Rock and Statham as their characters that were introduced in Fast 5 and Fast 7 respectively. Hollywood clearly saw that there was some chemistry between these two men in Fast 8, so they knew that they had to make a movie about them, even though there is drama between these actors and some other actors in the franchise.
You better hide your baby, or you better hide that big-ass forehead.
Hobbs is this bullish American that punches his way through any obstacle to get what he wants and drives a Ford pickup truck.
Two things. One, I need a translator.
What's the second thing?
Stay out of my way.
Shaw is a suave Brit who does similar things but is a little bit more discreet about it and drives a McLaren 720S.
You know, Twinkle Toes, in another life, I bet me and you could have done some serious damage. Shame I'm gonna have to bounce your head off the fender when this is all over.
The virus that they're after is named Snowflake, and I'm not sure if that's some weird comment on the current generation, but who cares? The virus was injected into the arm of a MI6 agent named Hattie, played by Kirby, to protect it from the hands of Brixton, who works for this mysterious global organization called Edion. Edion wants to involve the human race by killing off people using the virus. Throughout this journey, the film shows how different, but also how similar Hobbs and Shaw are, and it really pushes the limits of showing how they cannot defeat Brixton if they don't work together. And so thus, Hobbs and Shaw have to ignore their differences and work with their family members to defeat Brixton. Also, while traveling the world without any logic, time, sense of location, our heroes have to fix these relationships with their families as well. Hobbs left Samoa when he joined the DSS, and Shaw has been on the run since he allegedly shot Brixton in the face. They both left their families in the rearview mirror, and this film tries to show that they are far more alike than they first appear. If they can figure this out and work together, they will defeat Brixton. This theme obviously is nothing new, but the film does make an attempt to incorporate it multiple times over the course of the film. And this is really the first time in the franchise that Hobbs' family is really looked into. They did introduce his daughter in Fast 7, but really not much about his extended family. And the franchise has looked at Shaw's family a little bit. They've shown his younger brother, Owen, played by Luke Evans, and mother Helen Mirren before, though we don't see the former in this film. Helen Mirren is in this, and she's really enjoyable as the mother and really has the charisma of her own in this character. And really that's what makes this film. It has a lot of charisma, especially from the two leading actors. And that's the thing that I loved about this film the most, is watching these two interact with each other. They had some amazing chemistry, and some of the best scenes are just them standing or sitting in a room looking at each other and throwing insults back and forth.
You know, I think that tight t-shirt's cutting off the circulation in your brain. You should get a bigger size.
When this whole thing is over, we're gonna find a location, and I'm gonna knock your teeth so far down your throat, you're gonna stick a toothbrush right up your to brush them.
And I'm really not sure how much of that was scripted versus improvisational. Either way, it was hilarious to see these two men interact, and their characters work so well to the actors' strengths, literally and physically.
Voting isn't just going to the polls anymore on Election Day. Options like early voting, mail-in voting, and ballot drop boxes are available to more voters and are growing in popularity. How to Vote is a tool created by Democracy Works, and it breaks down the options your state offers by forecasting a ballot, empowering you to decide where and when to vote. Democracy works best when we all vote, but misinformation and confusion about election procedures have resulted in low voter turnout. How to Vote takes the guesswork out of the voting process. It is easy to use and helps folks from all over the country overcome many of the process barriers to voting. It is committed to helping you vote no matter what. You can use the How to Vote tool to sign up for election reminders, see what's on your ballot, get step-by-step assistance requesting your mail ballot, explore your options for returning your mail-in ballot, check your voter registration status, and find your local polling site, and make sure that you have an appropriate ID to bring with you. Decide when and where you'll vote this year at howto.vote.
Rock has been pretty much marketable in any situation. He's a hard worker, a go-getter, works out a lot, and a good dad, and a little cocky about it. Statham is a man of few words, knows martial arts, gives off sense of elegance, and is also a little cocky about it. So these characters were written extremely well for these two acts, and even Elba as Brixton has charisma to him that works with his character perfectly. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this cast, and even the really fun cameos in this film, which I won't spoil, add more charisma and charm. Each one works extremely well. The actors in this know this film is not going to be known for its story and logic, and they're having fun with it. It's going to be known for the charming personas in this fairly stupid movie. The amount of times that things work out absolutely perfectly for them is beyond counting in this movie. The final scene has cars linked together in a way that no one could do on a single try, but yet they do. The final scene takes place in multiple types of weather. It starts off right before dawn, then about 2 minutes the sun starts to rise, and a minute later the sun is high in the sky. As the scene continues, the sun turns into a pouring rainstorm. Then it goes back to sunshine. Then it goes back to the storm. And finally it goes back to the sun at the end of the film. There is absolutely no continuity between these scenes, as a fire apparently stays lit this entire time. Honestly, just thinking about this is just making me laugh just because it's so stupid. But yet, I enjoyed this movie because these things are not anything that you should care about when watching this film. The audience cares about the actors in this film and their charisma and charm, and seeing them cause body blows, which, again, this film has a lot of. As I get into a little bit, this film really has no logic and very little sense of reality. There may be some reason to why Edion wants to cause this genocide in the world, but it's not really clear. What was done to Brixton to make him the Black Superman seems kind of rushed. The CGI looks absolutely trash at times. And really, video games have had better. There's a lot going on in this film, and there's not a lot of cohesiveness to it. But then again, if you're going to see this film expecting a greatly made film, you really need to look at your life decisions. Overall, this film felt very similar to the Expendables movies, which were similar to old action films in the 1980s and 1990s. The plot is fairly nonsensical, but the action is over the top with quotable one-liners with two charismatic stars. It does feel cartoony at times, but the goal of this film is only to be entertaining, and the entire cast have a lot of fun. The film honestly does more than I expected to, and it's really a good addition to the overall franchise, and I would pay for a spin-off sequel, but maybe with a more cohesive plot. It is a fun popcorn flick that you won't feel awful about watching and won't feel that you wasted your time. I will definitely be buying this film on Blu-ray when it comes out. Now, I would rate this film a 3.5 out of 5 bow ties. Now, what did you think of the film and how does it compare to the other Fast and Furious films? Let me know. Hit me up on social media. The Formal Review is on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The URL is all the same. It's at The Formal Review. Thank you all for tuning in once again, and I really appreciate you all listening. I do see the numbers, and I'm really thankful for you all. So you never miss an episode, please subscribe on your favorite streaming service. The Formal Review is on Spotify, iTunes, Google Music, and pretty much any service that has podcasts. In addition, I always want to grow and improve, so please leave a review, and I'll definitely check it out. Feel free to also tell me what you want to hear and or a film that you want me to review. I do this for you all, and I want to keep this entertaining. Each pair of ears that you give to this podcast allows me to continue. So for those who have supported on a financial basis, I really appreciate the fact that you have supported me in this way. For those who want to give some financial part and haven't started yet, please go to anchor.fm/the-formal-review and click support this podcast. And honestly, any donation is appreciated. As with every episode, I do have music in the background. I do not own the rights to this music, but I put it in to show support for each film score. This is an important part of the film and can really bring an audience into the film's environment. The music in this episode is from the Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw original motion picture score, released on August 2nd, 2019 by Backlot Music. Thank you all for tuning in once again, and until next time, I'll see you at the movies. Take care, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Formal Review. We hope you'll join us again.